Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is July 2nd. Today we're taking a look at the mid-level water vapor loop. This storm has finally arrived off our coastline, spreading moisture up and over the region. It's going to bring a strong to severe thunderstorm threat for eastern portions, and eventually as we go overnight hours into tomorrow morning, we could introduce a thunderstorm or two western portions of Washington, British Columbia. We'll take a look at that as this system is going to bring multiple rounds of convection, especially eastern portions of Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, Idaho, and western Montana as we go through the next few days here. So we'll check out our 4th of July forecast as well. We'll probably have a better idea what's going to go on with that as we look at tomorrow's forecast. But let's dive right into things here. You can see that severe threat for eastern portions here, mainly a wind and hail threat. As we go on into day 2, pushes east a little bit here. You can see that thunderstorm threat right along the Cascades, but again, that could be introduced into western Washington, which would include western British Columbia as well. We'll see how that develops here. You can see if you want the best severe show, go off into eastern Montana on the 4th of July, the evening hours. You might get a nice show of lightning and fireworks at the same time in some of these areas. But we will have our own thunderstorm threat for much of the Pacific Northwest on the 4th of July as well. We'll check out those details coming up. Now, taking a look at Seattle, 75 degrees yesterday, right around the average high. Today, we might not make it there. We probably won't. We'll be around 70 degrees for a high today. 93 was the record high in 2015. We'll be nowhere near that. So checking out some of those highs, you can see, of course, warmer to the east. Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, maybe up towards 70 degrees today, but the cloud cover is going to be pretty thick during the day today. So it'll kind of stunt some of those temperatures and not get quite as warm as we got yesterday here. So let's take a look at this here. This is the 4-kilometer resolution look at the infrared satellite forecast. So you can see these thunderstorms develop through eastern portions of Oregon today, and these push up quickly through Washington, Idaho, and western Montana. You see multiple rounds of convection. So if you want the lightning today, I would definitely get to eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho, or Montana. But you can see how this low pressure sits off our coastline. It brings this kind of a negative tilt, which allows some of this activity to try to move off the Cascades into southern BC and western Washington. And you kind of see this wraparound moisture continuing on through the day Sunday. So you can't totally rule out a thunderstorm for western portions, west of the Cascades mainly. But as we go through Sunday, you can kind of see this low is still spinning over the area here. And here we're in the 4th of July, and you see this activity going on over the Cascades. So you can't rule out a thunderstorm completely over Washington and BC on the 4th of July. But again, if you want the really good stuff, get onto Montana. Some really strong thunderstorms are going to be rolling out here over the plains of Montana. Now, taking a look here, if one of these thunderstorms were to develop and come over British Columbia, we get what we call an elevated thunderstorm here, and you can see 700 millibars, about 10,000 feet. We're way down here at the surface, so you can kind of see that instability profile emerge here. It goes pretty high, and it's fairly unstable aloft here, at least according to the NAM 3KM. So we could get a thunderstorm. You can't rule it out. And some of these bases are nice and high, so if you don't have any obscuring clouds below that layer, you can get a nice visible thunderstorm. But the problem is you can kind of see we're saturated here below that base. You might not be able to see some of these thunderstorms, but you might hear the thunder above that unless you get lucky enough to get a cloud-to-ground strike visible. Now, looking here, this is convective available potential energy. This is the GFS UW model. You can see that Cascades destabilize portions of eastern Oregon. That's why that severe threat exists for this area. Western BC destabilizes pretty good. Kind of see some of this cape start to creep out over into western Washington, southern BC, Vancouver Island as we go through the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow morning. Some cape is still around, so you could get a thunderstorm, but that's probably going to be a better bet up towards the high terrain of British Columbia, eastern Washington, eastern British Columbia. But with this wraparound regime going on here, you can't rule out a thunderstorm for western Washington as well on in through Sunday and potentially even the 4th of July here. And as we go out a little bit further, you can see this instability really pretty good out here in Montana. A chance for a severe storm out there. So if you want the big Mother Nature fireworks, get out to Montana on the 4th of July. Now, taking a look here, this is the dynamic tropopause, and you can kind of see the system is out here spinning off our coastline here, just kind of hangs out, bringing the multiple rounds of convection to the area here across the region before it finally kicks out a bit, but there's still remaining trough out here, so we're just going to have to watch to see what kind of effects this is going to bring off in through the extended forecast here. This goes on through next week, Thursday, so we may keep some troughing around. We'll continue to monitor that. Now, taking a look here, 100-meter wind speed. I like to check this out for the 4th of July stuff because we get, everybody's lighting off fireworks. You want to see just how much this is going to clear off. This is Sunday the 3rd. So we're going to 4th of July here. Let's get out towards the evening hours. This is about when the fireworks shows are going on here. You see the Puget Sound in the Portland areas are getting some north winds along the coastline too. So maybe enough wind to clear things out a bit when everybody's done lighting off their fireworks, but still not a lot of wind here coming up on the 4th of July evening. This is looking at 700 millibars, 10,000 feet. This would be about the base of some of those thunderstorms if they did move off the Cascades into western portions. But this is generally just kind of showing you the position of this cold air aloft, and it kind of rotates through the area. You can kind of see why it's going to bring multiple rounds. It's just kind of spinning off our coastline here, not in a big hurry to get out of our area. GFS generally agrees, of course, short term, good agreement, high confidence. The system, it's already here, it's already developed. So we're going to see some lightning around the region. It's just, will we get it out into the lowlands of western Washington, British Columbia is yet to be seen. Check out the GFS, really shows the chilly temperatures tomorrow as this system's kind of parked over us, but then it warms us back up pretty quickly here. The saying goes for Seattle, summer starts on July 5th. Of course, our summer has already started. We've already had a heat wave, but check out nice rebound in temperatures after this trough after the 4th of July. This is Spokane. You can see those effects hanging out a little bit more on into the 5th of July here before we start to warm back up again in the extended. Now look at Seattle, Tacoma, not calling for a lot of precip coming up here, but the NAM3 cam has kind of been bumping up the precip a little bit here overnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning. Maybe a little bit of rainfall will fall across the region. And, the thunder and lightning lovers, maybe you'll get a clap of thunder or two with that. Look at Spokane, definitely more precipitation forecast out there. It's been trending a little bit higher here. Again, this is going to be dependent on where these thunderstorms track, though, for Spokane. Bellingham looks like definitely a more favored area for precipitation versus Seattle and Vancouver also. So this is 21 millimeters, about 2.2 centimeters, which is almost an inch of precipitation here, according to the NAM3KM. So, some of BC is going to get a pretty good shot of precip out of this. You can see Blue River out here in eastern British Columbia here, some pretty good precipitation amounts generally starting on the 4th of July. And I got reminded a few times that Canada does not celebrate the 4th of July. So just kind of putting that out there. I might have said that in one of my previous briefings there because I had several people reminding me. But yeah, so this is what's going on. This storm is finally here. I love seeing a thunderstorm out here in western Washington. I don't know if it's going to happen, but keep my fingers crossed. But again, any storm chasers out here in the region, you want to get out to eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana here for the next few days. And if you want some lightning, that is. So yeah, we'll go ahead and watch the high resolution models a bit closer tomorrow. It's really tough telling where these thunderstorms are going to form here, especially for western portions with the system like this, because once you drop it down here and you start to bring this flow off the Cascades, sometimes you can get some pretty prolific lightning makers where it was not forecast just even a couple days out. So we'll continue to watch that closely. We'll do this again tomorrow. I've got a dust devil video in the works right now. I'll release a little bit later today. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, please subscribe, click like, and we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll take a closer look at the thunderstorm potential for much of the region.